Okay, we're up to Chaf base. No, Chaf Aleph on an Aleph. Chaf Aleph on an Aleph, whereby the two dots, the Al Chayiv ala Roish. He said you Chayiv for Hakafis Roish. So Machvar Rav Sheish is being Pirkei Rishoy. As he's showing, we saw the two Chaf Aleph on an Aleph.
You say we're learning L'zeicha
Oh,
Nishma?
we're learning Zeich Nishmas Moshe ben
Yehudi Yitzchak.
Yehuda Yitzchak, Moshe Newman Zeichat Tzadik Kadosh Levracha. We had the schus of him coming to share early on, the first machzer, and also later on the Zoom. He was a special man. Just a quick story. He lost his sister, and Reb Nosson said, "You know what, please do me a favor. I think it'll be a good thing if you go visit my father." The worst part was trying to find parking in Borough Park. Of course, I went. I walk in, the place is packed. He looks up at me and he tells everyone, "I love that guy." And he made you feel like $1 million because I love that guy, and I loved him too. The Shamash have an Aliyah. Anyway, so it says Chayiv ala Roish. So Machvar Rav Sheishes says Rav Sheishes. He shows him Machvi showing being Pirkei Reisha. We said yesterday we saw the Rivon, right, who said that there's two parts to the head. So he said, where is the payas? That's where the two parts of the head split. And Val Zaking, we said Zaking, Shtay Mikan, Ushtay Mikan V'achas Melmata. Again, according to Rivon, fellas, it's the over here. I think it's this. Over here, over here, over here, over here, and over here. The point's over here and over here, but we're not exactly sure where it is. So we don't go ahead and put down the halacha. We don't shave anywhere near that. In other words, we don't know exactly what these 5 points are. You don't want to be chayiv 5 malchus. If you go ahead and shave with a razor, you would not want to be chayiv 5 malchus. So we avoid that. And Machim Vershesh has been pirkei the dukna. Rebbe Elazar Omer im not one, right? Rebbe Eliezer said in the Mishnah, he said that I feel I'm not lukul kachas. If you do it all at once, in the chayiv alachas, you'll be chayiv 5. You only chayiv once, and the only chayiv the Mishnah says if you do it b'ta'ar with a razor. Rabbi Eliezer is of the opinion I feel locked been malaked up hitni. If you even go ahead and take a tweezer or a plane, you would be what? You would be chayiv. Okay. Rabbi Eliezer not like Saba chad lavu. He says it's one lav, and therefore, even though there's 5 points where you could be chayiv malchus on for hashchas zakein, he says it's only one. Veinu chayiv ashiyat lena b'ta'ar tanrabanon. The pasuk says upas zekonam lo yigalechu. It says by the kahanim, it's upas zekonam lo yigalechu ubsarim lo yistu surates. And yochel afilu golchu b'misparayim. I might think that if you do geluach, you shave with a scissor. Yechayiv tamid loymar. It says leisakifu pasroishchem leisashkes es pasikonecha. Do not destroy. Destroy means that you go ahead and you cut it from the root. Like you get a really close shave. I was told there's no closer shave than a razor. That's what I was told. I wouldn't know. We would know, but we whatever. Ilay sashkes yochel im loktu b'malak hitni, which also can be derech hashchasa. So in other words, you have 2 psukim, one describing the object and one describing what? One describing the action. Okay, it said giluach sheyesh by hashchasa. It's a haircut that requires hashchasa, a destructive. Aviyom is a ta'ar. What the ta'ar does? It's derech giluach. That's the way you use it. And in addition, it goes ahead what and it goes ahead and is mashkris. It destroys the hair, literally. I feel lucky hitni chayaviv. Now, where do we get this to? So Rashi says it's a gzeira shava, guys. If you look at Rashi, Rashi says upasu kan lo yigalechu gabe kahanim ksiv. V'isashka says pasu kanecha be Yisrael ksiv. V'yafinu la gzeira shava hay mehai depeya upeya. So in other words, one is telling me the halacha of giluach that it has to be what? It has to be derech giluach. And the other is telling me halacha that it should be mashkes is with what? It's with a razor. So the question is, Rabbi Eliezer says Yechayev bin Melakiv Rehitni. If he's learning the Gezeira Shava, he should be limited to a tar. Why? because the hitni is not derech is hashchasa, but it's not the normal thing to go ahead and use to cut yourself. And misparayim is not derech hashchasa. So memanavshach, where does he say yechayiv? You know, if you learn the Gezerah Shava, you'll be limited to tar. And if you don't learn the Gezerah Shava, how do you know misparayim not? Good. Says the Gemara. So manavshach. If he learns the Gezerah Shava peya liboy tar, you should need a razor. V'iloi gamar, and if he doesn't, Gezerah Shava misparayim namiloi. So the Chari then what? Then you shouldn't even be able to use a scissor. Loilam Gomer, a person, I guess, would use this type of carpenter tool for what? For taking a shave, because it accomplishes the same thing. So therefore he holds derech kiluach, and therefore you will be chayiv. Okay. State in Torah that v'seret lenefesh leisitnu b'sarchem u'k'soyves ka'aka leititnu b'chem ani Hashem. A k'soyves ka'aka you should not put in yourself ani Hashem. Kaka is a tattoo. Kaka is a tattoo. Not a tattoo, a tattoo. Now, the tattoo is accomplished by a two-step process. One, making holes in the skin, and two, filling it in with some type of colored dye. And that's those are the two things, okay? So hakosev k'soif is kaka, okay? Kosav v'loy kikeya. Let's say you write, but you don't go ahead and kikeya, I think, means you don't put in the dye, or kikeya v'loy kosav. Ein chayev at sheyichdo v'yikakeya. You got to do both. Biyadoi, ubekachol, and using kachol is type of blue dye. Ubechol davashu roisham, anything that would remain. So you're describing an action that gives a certain permanence. There's a certain permanence to the tattoo, right? It stays there. You don't get rid of it, right? You don't get rid of it. Reb Shimon ben Yehuda mishum Reb Shimon oimer ein chayiv at sheyichtov shem, right? At sheyichtov es Hashem shenemar u'k'soy v'skakol esitnu b'chem ani Hashem. So Pasha, guys. Pasha, it seems to say that you only chayiv if you write the Shem Hashem. That's right. That's mashmas of the pasuk. Hang in there. Don't put in you ani Hashem the words ani Hashem. Amalei Rav Achabe the Rav Ashi adi yichdev ani Hashem mamish. Mamish. You're not chayiv until you write the word ani Hashem. So amalei loy kidetani bar kapara ein chayiv at shichdev Shem avodas kechavim. You write the name of avodas v'zara. Shneimar u'kesoyves kaka. Leisitnu b'chem, pirish. You know why? Because ani Hashem v'loyacher. If you read it straight, you're not chayiv till you write the words ani Hashem, but you stop. Don't do it. You know why? Because I'm Hashem and I don't want the acher. So it's brought down in Hilchas Avodas Kechavim, guys. This kakeya is brought down in Hilchas Avodas Zara. That they would go ahead and they would write Avodas Zara. They would write on themselves. The shaila in the poskim is very fascinating. Are you only chayiv if you write a letter, or even if you don't write a letter? In other words, we know it's all asa. I'm talking about Malkus. We know it's all asa. You know, you all know from day one. Everyone's sitting here. If you get a tattoo, what? You're not going to be buried in a Jewish cemetery. The best lie of all time. It stopped the whole generation. I'm telling you, generations believe that. Lenny's saying it's not true. And so, I'm saying. We all heard that, right? You're not going to be buried in a Jewish cemetery. It's a lie, but everyone believed it. No one got a tattoo. And Biprat, growing up, a tattoo was always people. It was prust. It was prust. Only low lives did it. Bisman hazeh, it's forget about it. It's unbelievable. What? You see from the Gemaras, he had tattoos. Again, avoid the Zara. They had kinds of bizarre things. So the shaila is, listen, there's an opinion, you only chayiv if you write a letter. Only chayiv if you write a letter. And that holds, if you write a picture, it won't be asa. It won't be asa, according to that opinion. Now, you won't get malchus. You won't get malchus. Now, it's interesting, by Shabbos ksiva, you need two letters. By Ksavas Kaka to get malchus is one letter. It's not, because we need diamond to the Mishkan. The Mishkan they had on the Krushim, so you needed two letters. That he'd be diamond to that. Mashen came this way, this already. They would write one letter. They'd write one letter. But again, there are again. it was fascinating. I looked in the Mesifta to find that there's such a musig right of you. Okay, now there's something. I'll go to the next mission, and then I'll bring something else in. Okay, Amarav Malkia says Malkia Amarav Adabarava Asa Loila Adam Sheyitain Efa Makla Al Makosai. It's also for a person to go ahead and put Efa Makla to take ash. Yeah, you have a wound and you want to go ahead and cover the wound. You take ash from an oven and put. It's also to do because it can leave a rishon. Right. So Mifnei Shaniras Kikur Sevis Kaka because it appears like a tattoo. Okay, now who said this? Rav Malkiya. Rav Nachman, Berei de Rav Ika, Shpud, Shivchais, Figumais, Rabbi Malkiya. These three halachas, guys. The halacha of a shvud, I'll say it quickly. The halacha of a shvud, if you go on Yontif, once you go ahead and you roasted some meat, then you have the shvud over here, right? It's muktzah, because it's muktzah machmas miyas. So Rabbi Kia says you can move it with the derech machina with its sad. Shvachais is the person gets married. You shouldn't have too many shvachais. So Rabbi Lessa says because it's going to go ahead, you lead to too much time for a woman. It's not good. A gumais is a shtei soros have to come out of two pores in the skin. But Makia is of the opinion that if you have two pores, even without the hairs, it's a siman of vada of nairis. Right, that's Rav Malkiya. Rav Malkiya, blurious. Blurious is the Mongol cut that, and you're not allowed to go ahead and a Jewish barber, shouldn't go be within 3 etzbois of it. Ephra Makla, which we just brought in, and Gavina, guys, the cheese of a guy you can't eat because they used to go ahead and polish it with lard. Okay, so we have 6 halachas. Now, 3 was said Rav Malkiya, and 3 was said Rav Malkiyai. Okay, Rav Malkiya. Rapapa Masnisan umasnitan, if it comes in the Mishnah or it comes in the Baises Rav Malkiya, Shmaitza, if it's a Gemara, Rav Malkiyai. B'simanecha Masnisan Malkasa. The Malkiya, which is the Lashon of the Keva, is the Masnisan Lashon Keva. My binai, what's the difference between them? Binai is Shvachais. Right? Okay, so let's look at the chart. I sent out a very, very nice chart. Okay. Right. It could be you didn't get it. Okay, yeah, could be I didn't send it to you. See the chart? Okay, so here's the machlokes between Rav Nachman. Okay, so now Shvud is Shmaitza is a Gemara, Shvachos is a Mishnah, Gumais is a Gemara, Blurius is a Brisa, Efa Makla is a Gemara, and Gavina is a Mishnah. So according to Rav Nachman, this is the first opinion. The first 3 statements were said by Rav Malkiya, the last Malkiyai, and the last 3 were said by Rav Malkiya. According to Rav Papa, if it's in a Brisa or a Mishnah, then it's Rav Malkiya. So look, Malkiya, they're the same. Rav Nachman, the first one, Shpud, they're the same because it's a Gemara. Mishnah, there's your difference, guys. That's the only one that's the difference. According to Rav Nachman, the case of Shvachais was said by Rav Malkiya. According to Rav Papa, it was Rav Malkiyai. And according to Rav Papa, it's Malkiya. That's the second one is the only difference. The rest are the same. Rav Malkiya, Rav Malkiya, Rav Malkiya, and you can see, and Rav Malkiya. So that's the difference between Rav Nachman and Rav Papa. This case, the case of Shvud. Okay, great. Okay, let's finish the Mishnah. Let's finish the Mishnah. Rav Bibi Barabaya kopit afilu arivda de kusilta. Arivda de kusilta, that after they would bloodlet, he was makbid the what, not to go ahead and put what, to put some type of ephah makla on that. Rav Ashi Yama kamakim sheishon maka makasim mechelav. Since they'll realize it's a result of a makkah, you will be able to put it. Now I spoke to, in other words, let's say you had a makkah, right, and you put it on, this thing of ephah makla, we don't paskin that way. We paskin that if, as long as you realize that the person's putting it on because what it is, it's
a Marisani question. It's not a question of halacha.
No. Again, are you over the issa? Are you over the issa of putting on a tattoo? So it looks like a tattoo, but you don't realize if you see it's a wound, you don't realize it's not a tattoo. Again, they asked it even what would look like a tattoo. If you have what a makkah, then they won't realize it's a tattoo. It's meichiach, it's not a tattoo. But stam is like even if a makbid or a makbid. I spoke to Levi Gelfish today. I had heard once upon a time about art, body art might be, it's not the issa, what they do with Bisman Azeh is incredible. What they do to the bodies, and so he said it's us. He's telling me it's us. He said ad kedei kach, and this is what I found fascinating. Lenny, listen to this. He said they have, when people undergo chemotherapy, radiation, they want to be very, very, very exact. So they tattoo a point on the person, because most of the people don't realize it. But if you would, that he said it also would be asa. If you would realize that, it would also be asa. To allow a tattoo on yourself, even for the medicinal purposes, he said it would be asa. Again, what? You're doing what?
Like cancer or something, a tattoo
Yeah,
skin. That has to be skin, or
I guess you can't see it. You can't see it.
right.
Yeah, no. I would think it has to be seen. I would think that you have to be seen, right? I'd say you have to be seen. Yeah,
The a tattoo is to depict something. A dot is not depicting anything.
It doesn't make a difference. Again,
Going into the skin.
Anything that you're putting in the skin, again, not a shiloh of malchus, the shiloh asa. Kenzai malchus is only an ois, Kenzai only avodah zara. But again, asa, we were talking about, is it asa or not? That'll be asa. Now, yesterday I finished off the shir very quickly, and I thought we should go over one point. There's this of cutting yourself, whether it's with a knife, one's with a knife, one's with your hands, but it's asa for a mace to go ahead and do that. Why does it say bonum atem l'Hashem? Why does it? We don't. It says shatness. It doesn't say bonum atem l'Hashem. They still be shatness. Why? What's this with the hakdama of bonim? So Sully Bornstein said over a very nice Eben Ezra. So I bring it in. I thought it was very nice Eben Ezra. I'll bring it in. I don't think so. I don't think I sent it. I might have. Okay, then it was sent.
Later.
Yeah. Later today. Later today.
Yeah.
Okay, Bonim. Listen, the Eben Ezra on the pasuk, guys. It's Perik Yudalid pasuk Aleph. Because Bonim acha shetedu she'ata bonim l'shem. Once you know you're a son to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, v'hu oyev eschem, and he loves you, yoisem me'av. He loves you more than your father. L'chein, therefore, al tisgoidedu al kol ma sheyaseh. Don't go ahead and cut yourself on anything that happens. Everything that happens to you is good. And if you don't understand it, right, just like little kids don't understand it, but they're samech on their father, we should be samech on the Rabbi Shalom. Kain tasu gamatem, so to you. Ki am kodesh ata, ve'encha kishar kol hagoyim. You're not like the nations of the world. Al kain le'sasa k'masayim. Don't act like them. Okay. Anyway, so he says very geschmack. The reason is we have a munah on Kadosh Baruch Hu, that everything that happens to us, there's a reason why it's happening to us, and therefore something when are you going to do? That's on a mace when a mace occurs, and therefore you're going to say that what? Oh, how could this happen? Right? Don't do it. That's what they do. But we believe in Kadosh Baruch Hu. There's a purpose for everything. Painful it is. Avelis there is. Kaddish there is. But not the Skoidu, not like the Goyim. We have our own way of doing things. But not only bonim ketanim, guys, says the Eben Ezra. A little kid that is totally subservient to a parent, they don't ask questions. This man is maybe I know, but in the old days they didn't ask questions. Very geschmack. Okay, says the Mishnah. Nazir shahaya shaisa yayin kala yayin, and chayiv ela achas. A nazir that was drinking wine the whole day is chayiv only once. Omruloi al tishta al tishta. If you give him the separate asra, v'shaisa chayv kolachas v'achas. If that sounds familiar, we brought it in the other day. Hayim b'tamel amesim. We know another can be b'tamel amesim. Hayim b'tamel amesim kol hayoyim. And chayv el achas. He's chayv what? He's also chayv el achas. Omruloi is al tetama. You say don't be metama. Don't be what? Don't be metama. Chayv el kolachas v'achas. You be chayv what? For each and every one. Chayv each every one. He's not taking a hechad and a chayv alachas. Omulu al tegalech v'megalech chayv kolachas v'achas. Now this is not speaking by a regular Joe. Hayilovish b'kalayim kolayoyim. A person's wearing shatness and chayv alachas. Omulu al talbesh v'poishev v'loivish. He takes it off, puts it on. We're going to see lav dafka chayv kolachas v'achas on mid base. Yesh chayrish tlem echad. It's possible to be chayrish tlem echad. It's possible to go ahead and plow. A tlem is a row. V'chayev alav mishum shmoin alavim, and you v'chayev 8 times. You ready? Hachayrish shar v'chamar. That's 1. Shar v'chamar yachdav is 1. Guys, 1. You're not allowed to go ahead and work with them together. B'hayu mukdashim. The shar was a bechar. You're not allowed to work a bechar. The chamor was bedek habayis. You're not allowed to work bedek habayis. So that's 3 now. So you have one shar chama yachdav, and you have kachim. 2 for kachim is 3. It could be this is shaila. This is shaila whether it's asa b'hana or not. Right? There is such a daya. The kalayim v'kerem, that's 4. In other words, you're going along and there's a chita. You have wheat and barley and a grape seed, and you cover it up, So that's 4. Shvius, it's the Shemitah year, is 5. Yontif, it's on Yontif, is 6. The Koyin and the Nazir bebeis hatuma. So 7 and 8 for Koyin and Nazir. Good. Yeah. Chananya ben Chachina yomer af aloy kalayim. Even if you're wearing kalayim, that's not part of this. It has nothing to do with the charisha. Even the nazar. But the truth is, the nazar, based on if the charisha, it is part of it because it's part of the ground, right? Bishleim shanis is part of the body, has nothing to do with the charisha, guys. But the kohen, the nazir, is doing the charisha, the plowing in a Beisak forest. He's going to come to. He has no choice, so it is part of it. So those are your 8. Those are your 8. Again, shor v'chamor, 2 for kodesh. Kerim is 4. Shvi is 5. Yontif 6. Kayim v'nazir is 8. So now, what this halacha? Let's look at the gears of the Bach, and he's speaking about the din of putting on the kalayim together. So Amar Bibi Amar Rav Asi like poishiv v'loivish mamish el afilu. So even he's not mamish not taking it off and on completely. El just afilu machnus u'moitzi. Even he just goes ahead, puts his arm in and out. Beisyad unkli shaloi. So machvi ravacha berei deravika. In other words, guys, loivish should mean completely wearing, and poishiv completely take off. He goes, no, even if you just put your hand in and out of the sleeve, you would be chayiv, and it would be a separate time. And Rav Ashi Amar, I feel like shoyl they live shoyl live chayiv. Even if you keep it on, the time it would take to take it off. Even it could be on you and you're warned, and you don't take it off, and you could take it off, you'd be chayiv. That would be a new what, a new chayiv. Yesh chayiv tlem echad b'chayiv 8. Rav Yanai b'chabura nimnu v'gamru hachayfa b'kalayim loika. Okay, guys, let's be farmers for not maybe 30 seconds. You go ahead, you take the klei kerem midaraisa, you have a chita, sa'ira, and a grape seed, you put it in the ground. Yechayev, it's going to grow. You're going to grow. Good. I'm taking a plow now and I'm covering it up. It'll grow better. In other words, the question is, if let's say I know about it and I don't take it out, I'm mekayim klayim or yechayev or not. How do you view chayfa? Do you view it as an act of zriya, or do you view it as being mekayim? So if you hold mekayim klayim as chayev, your whole chayfa maybe is chayev, or not. Maybe chayfa yechayev is zareya, and even if you hold lekayim is potter, you'll be chayev for zareya. That's the dialogue over here. Rav Yanai, the chabur nimlu v'gamru hachayfa b'kalayim. Someone covers up the kalayim, loika you get malchus. Amalem Rabbi Yochanan. Lav Mishnah saying hizu. Why are you, Rav Yanai, telling me it's a Mishnah? Yesh charish tlemecha v'chayav alav mishum shmoin alavim. Hacharish b'shav v'chamarach v'heim ukdashim v'kalayim hakerem. Now, hay charish nemachayim mishum kalayim heich mishkachasla. How do you find the act of charisha, an act of plowing, that you can be chayiv what for klei hakerem? So it's more lav the michsei behedya. Isn't it speaking that what that you covered it up? You covered it up, right? The ozel that you went along and you covered it up. So in other words, says Rabbi Yochanan to Rabbi Yanai, what are you telling me? The Mishnah, l'chayra, we have a chiyuv klei hakerem. It must be because you're covering it up. So Amalei Rabbi Yanai told him, "Ilav de deloy lecha chaspa." If not that I lifted up the shard, mimish gachas maganisa tutoi, would you have gone ahead and discovered the gem underneath? You would have thought that the malchus is what? Is for mekayim kalayim, like Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva says, guys, if you know that it's there and you keep it there, you're chayiv. If you, in other words, had I not told you this, right, this din that mechafa is what is chayiv, then you would have thought that what the chiyuv is what only like Rabbi Akiva, because if you mekayim it, I just mechadish to you that no, that's mechape. So Amalei Reish Lekesh to Rabbi Yochanan, Ilav de Kilsach Gavra Rabba. If not that you were praised by a great person, Havamina, Maslisan money. Who's the town of the Mishnah? Rabbi Akiva. The Amar Hamakayim b'Kalayim is like it. Someone who keeps Kalayim is like it. But the Chachamim who argue, right? They would disagree, and even by mechape, guys, I could view mechape as Makayim. In other words, it's planted already, fellas. Guys, look at me. It's in the tlem. The seeds are in the ground. What by covering it over? What are you doing? You're guaranteeing it's going to stay. So if you hold kaim as potter, you'd hold mechaf as potter also. So if not for the fact that Rabbi Yanai praised you and said that what mechaf is chayv is areya, I could have thought the Mishnah is Rabbi Akiva, and what? But the Chacham would disagree. Why you Rabbi Akiva chayiv? Because you left it in the ground. Are you covering it? Covering is not planting. It's just guaranteeing that it's going to stay there. But the Chacham who disagree by Makayim would disagree by Mechapim also. And that's the Chiddush over here. My Rabbi Akiva, where do you see Rabbi Akiva holds that what Mekayim b'Kalayim is chayiv? The Tanya. Hamenachesh, someone who holds v'Mechape b'Kalayim loika Rabbi Akiva oima afa Mekayim. The way the Rivon learns this, fellas, is one statement. It's not two different people talking. It's Rabbi Akiva. If you look at the Rashba at the Rivon, in the middle of the wide lines, about from the top, about 8 lines down. It says, "My Rabbi Akiva, the Tanya, Hamenachesh v'Mechape v'loy garsin d'nan. Menachgaris is the Mishnah, the Braisahi v'loy Mishnah. Hamenachesh v'Mechape b'Kalayim loike Rabbi Akiva oimaf Mekayim." So the way you read it, it's 2 separate statements. There's a Tanakama and there's Rabbi Akiva. No. Hula Rabbi Akiva Kamala. The whole statement is the statement of Rabbi Akiva. Hamenachesh v'Mechape b'Kalayim loika. You know why? The Mekayim who? Because the act of Mechafe is, and the act of Menachesh is what? Is Mekayim. And that's what we answer Mayid Cotton. So now, you want to know Rabbi Akiva back in the Gemara, guys? You want to know Rabbi Akiva? Hamakayim Kalayim is like my Rabbi Akiva, Titania. Hamenachesh v'Mechape b'Kalayim like. You know why? Because Rabbi Akiva oima af Mekayim, and therefore it's Mechape is no worse than that. My time of Rabbi Akiva. What's the reason for Rabbi Akiva? Titania. The pasuk says, "Es chukosai tishmoiru behem techalei sabir kalayim." Don't crossbreed animals. Sad chalei sisur kalayim. Your field you should not plant kalayim. Ubeged kalayim shatnus layala alecha. And the hat trick, don't wear a beged kalayim. Now, guys, listen to the way you read the pasuk. Listen to this. Like sadcha kalayim sadcha leisizra. He says, Titania sadcha leisizra kalayim ein liel zareya mekayim minayin tamaleimar. Kilayim sad chaloi. You should not have any kalayim in your field at all, period. No kalayim in the field at all. Amlei ula Rav Nachman v'luki nami mishum zayreya biyantif. You only have 8. Why don't you include 9? Guys, planting on Yontif. You're not allowed to plant on Yontif. I got another Malkus. Planting on Yontif. You're telling me it's not Makayim. You're telling me it's Zayreya, correct? So why don't you chayav for planting on Yontif? Says Amalei Tan Meshaya. Enochinami. We could have learned it, but we left out. You know when you say Tan V'Shaya, guys? When you say one. They could have said 2. No, okay. When you say 8 already, once you said 8, you're not leaving out more. So Tan V'Shaya, because you learned 8, you're not Shaya. So Marava yesh chilik malachas b'Shabbos vein chilik malachas b'Yontif. Okay, says Rashi, right? Vein chilik malachas b'Yontif. Right, Rivon, 5 lines up. In Moshe Shtayim v'Shalosh malachas b'Helam Echad. If you do 2 or 3 malachas in one halama, ayasa malacha sheyesh ba shtayim ein chayiv ele echad. You only chayiv once. Leman da'amar havara lechalikas. Okay, we had machloikas, guys. Why does it say le'savaru es b'chomash v'seichem when it says kom malach le'sasu? Why do you have to take it out? So there's 2 opinions: either to tell me it's a lav and it's not what, it's not skila, or to tell me it's to mechalik. Okay, so that's only by Shabbos. It's not by what? It's not by Yontif. So Mimela, you're not going to have chilik malachas by Yontif, right? So once you're working on Yontif, guys. So you chayiv for working on Yontif, you're not going to be machalik and say, "Oh, you chayiv for zareya, you chayiv." Okay, that's the issa. So that's his teretz. Amalei ada tei. It's okay. Ada, he agrees with that. Ada tei, it's good. Eisvei abaya vein chilik malachas b'Yontif atanan. Okay, we'll stop over here because I didn't prepare this. Okay, I don't look at it yet.